So is your business growth stalling despite all your hard work and effort? Maybe you're noticing numbers aren't as high as they used to be. Maybe you're seeing productivity not as high as it used to be. Well, you may have been given some bad time management advice that you may still be following. So hello everyone, I'm Jonathan Aquino and I help teach the next generation. So as an entrepreneur and time management coach, I have personally felt and done a lot of the good and a lot of the bad things in terms of time management, and it can hinder business growth if you do the wrong ones by a wide margin. So by the end of this video, we're going to explore why I would say the big three of multitasking, always being available, and not delegating properly can cost you a lot of business growth. And we're going to explore why all of these are very harmful to your business and why being told to do these are also bad. So I'm going to share my personal stories as to why this happened because, well, I went through them. I was given this advice and I also followed them because of working, a job for most of my life. So I kind of followed this thinking that it was the right way to do things, when in reality, it was the complete opposite way of doing things. So we're going to go over that as well in this video. So when I used to work as an instructor, I did all of these things: multitasking, making myself available, not delegating properly. So I always felt that I was the only person who could do everything. I had that mindset because there was no one I felt that was on my level of teaching and professionalism and such, because I think I had an inflated ego from the last place I had worked because I was running everything and everyone was doing well. So I moved to a new place and I still had that inflated ego. So I did everything at the same time. And what that eventually led to was burnout, and I just didn't want to work there anymore. And so I carried that onto entrepreneurship and it wasn't going well. It went well for the first couple of months in terms of, wow, brand new business is going great. And then you hit that point where it's like, oh, the numbers are going down. Oh, what's going on? Is my hard work not enough? What is this? And once I took a step back and kind of analyzed what was doing wrong and fixed it, that's when everything started clicking, and that's when numbers really started going up. So I really wanted to just emphasize that if you just take a step back, analyze what you're doing wrong with your time, you can kind of better understand what's going on, why you're doing so bad or why you're doing so well, and what can you do, and kind of figure out what you can fix in terms of time management. So let's start with multitasking. So multitasking, everyone believes that you can get so much done with doing everything at the same time, but from research and personal experience, it never works that way. I wish it did. I'm gonna be honest with you, I wish it worked that way. So much would be done, but your brain takes, I think if I remember correctly, 15 minutes to go from one task to another task with 100% focus. So if you're switching back and forth between 2, 3, 4, 5, you're not giving every task 100% focus. You're probably giving it like 20, 15, 10 because you keep switching. So when I was doing business, I was doing so many different, things, tasks on the to-do list, but I was doing them all at the same time because I just happened to be on the laptop or the computer where I go, hey, I have 5 different tabs open, I get all 5 things done. Or if I was on physical premises, I would do the same thing. Well, I'm here, let's do 17 different things at the same time. And what would happen is I'd forget to do some of them. A lot of them would be done sloppily and I'd have to redo them later. And if they were done, it wasn't done to the best of my ability. And I felt that it was just not a great use of my time to multitask and do everything. So what I honestly would recommend for that is just focus on one task at a time. Multitasking really lowers the quality of work. And if it is bad enough to your standards, then you're going to have to redo it and waste even more time redoing the work that should have been done efficiently and correctly the first time. So I would say just do single tasking. Single tasking is by far the best way to do work. I've done it. I've been doing it for, I want to say, a year now in terms of just focusing on one single task. And I have definitely felt like the stress lift off of me because I don't have to think about all these other things I have to get done. If I just focus on one thing and one thing only, no issue. But if I start thinking of 7 different things, two different things, that's when the stress kind of hits. Because like, can I finish this like now in the next hour, and then I can start working on this? Like, when am I gonna finish this? Cool, it's done. Let's move on to the next, instead of constantly having to shift my thought process between the two. So multitasking, if you're currently doing this, very, very bad. The fix would be single tasking, or another point I'm going to bring up in the next, 10 minutes or so. So the popular idea of being available always, that one is kind of dumb because I thought it was okay. So if I'm always available, everyone needs me and I'm there, dude, that must show dedication and so much, like, damn, this dude really wants to work. And what I found was, because I was always available, everyone needed me. And so I was spread too thin in terms of how many responsibilities I was handed. When I first started this book thing, the thing that I was working on with a partnership deal I had with someone, I think last year, I had so many responsibilities that had to get done. They had, to put into context, an entire basement of 40,000 books that had to get listed, scanned, thrown out. Whatever you can think of you could do with a book, I probably had to do it. And it was me and my business partner. And at the time, I don't feel like this anymore, but at the time, I felt like I was up here for the business and he was down here because of just knowledge and experience in it. So I always felt like, okay, so I'm here, so I'm going to do everything, and he's not here, so I'm not going to call him to bring him up. But what ended up happening, unsurprisingly, I will say, I got burnt out, exhausted, tired, just gone. Like, I think a month in, I was gone for like a week because I just couldn't continue. So you need to make sure that you kind of limit your time to yourself in terms of what times are you keeping to yourself. So for me, my times are in the morning, from 5 in the morning till about 11, 12, because that's the time I work my hardest, because no one is really speaking to me. No one really needs me. No one calls me. No one texts me. And that's just the time I can focus on myself. So no one has access to me during those times. I decided, I think 6 months ago, that this time no one contacts me. No one gets a message from me, because that is my time. I'm going to work. But after 12, then it's like, okay, hey, you want to go do this thing? Yeah, let's go do this thing. You want to go do this thing? Let's go do that thing. Just so I'm not constantly dead every day while working. All right, so we're going to do everything that everyone needs starting first thing in the morning. Didn't work out very well for me, so don't do that. So I would say to kind of block out specific time periods in the day where it's just your time to do whatever work you may want, or if it's time for your like personal recovery and such, as I did it for the first month just to get myself back in the groove. Don't make yourself available always. You don't seem dedicated, people will take advantage of you. So don't do that. I've learned, just please don't do that. You will burn out much faster than you think. Delegation. Delegation is a concept I did not understand for the longest time. As I mentioned earlier, I was an instructor who did everything. And if something was brought up to me, instead of giving it to another instructor who could do it while I focus on the main thing, of teaching, I would do it anyway. So I would be in the middle of teaching a class and helping a student. I'd be in the middle of teaching the class and helping a parent. That was the first signs that I should have picked up. As like, maybe this isn't the way to do things. But I didn't pay attention. So then I moved to the next position, and same thing happens. I'm perceived as the best instructor there. So I do all the work and just get burnt out extremely fast and still continue to work. But once I left and really started focusing on entrepreneurship, I still kept that baggage onto me. So as I mentioned before, I've felt like and perceived, okay, so here I am in terms of where I'm at in entrepreneurship. And here's my business part. We're not equals. I'm doing more than him, and I know more than him in terms of everything around this business. So I didn't trust him at that point to do the work that I was doing. So if I could give you a visual, so his to-do list was probably like this big, and mine was probably this big in terms of the tasks that we had to do, which is insane to look. So I have like a page a day, and he's got like 2 sentences, to give you an example. He didn't really do a lot. Not because he didn't want to. He was constantly asking me what to do, but I didn't trust him at the time. And that really cost me because I did everything. So a month in, 2 months in, gone. I couldn't do it anymore. And what I would definitely say is you need to delegate. As an entrepreneur, as a business dude, you have to delegate because your purpose and your goal for your business should be doing the high priority stuff. So if there's lesser important things that have to get done, but they're not your biggest priority, you should hand them to one of 2 things. Either someone who can do it for you, like a virtual assistant, your business partner, someone else, in your business or whatever. Get a software to do it, AI to do it, etc. Because you need to make sure that you're focusing on the biggest possible thing that will draw the most revenue, the most profit, etc., etc. That's what you have to focus on. If you're in my position, you want to make sure you get all the good shit, all the good books, finding every single different way to find the good books. I'm not going to be focused on shipping them. I'm not going to be focused on getting them there. That's not my priority. My priority is just to find them. My business partner handles the packaging, the shipping, and the organization of all of that. I don't touch organization anymore. He does the organization. So I lifted that task from my to-do list to his to-do list. I've done the shipping and stuff from mine to his. So now we're about even, but we're doing things that we are more experienced in and that doesn't kill the other because he doesn't really know how to get books online. I do. I don't really care for organization, but he does. So it kind of works out in the end. So I would say for me personally, this is the most important thing. If you're not delegating, then you need to do one of 2 things. You either need to start trusting your people more because they're following you for a reason. If you're, up there, they trust you for a reason. So you want to, give them stuff that you trust them with, work that you trust them with, or find a software, find an AI that can do it for you. I know several different softwares that I've used in the past and I still currently use that have dramatically lifted the shoulders off of me because of all the different things that I don't have to do anymore. Repricing, finding books, like there's a lot of different things that I don't do anymore that I used to 2-3 years ago, which is fantastic. So by understanding these 3 pieces of advice, multitasking, always being available, and not delegating tasks, you can significantly boost your business growth. And implementing the better practices that I mentioned, trusting your team or getting AI, single tasking or just giving yourself time. These things can all seriously improve it. I know when all of these things were kind of optimized and I did all 3, there was a significant jump from the previous month to the current month. So I think that fully implemented all of these in February of this year. And February, we had about 8,000 in revenue. And then we had in March, we had about 12,000 in revenue. So that is a very tangible difference. And the workload has stayed around the same for now. And I feel great with no real stress or anything. So I would definitely recommend doing the single tasking, delegating, and just cutting people off. Not because, you don't want to deal with them, but because you want to give yourself time. So you want to find that right balance. It's all about optimization in this game of time management. You want to optimize as best as you can that gives you the biggest results. So there's a lot of different things that come into it, but if you follow these business management tips, you'll would hope that you get more success in your business. If you found these tips helpful, you'll definitely find my previous video of how to stay hyper-focused in a distracting world very useful. In that video, I go over ways to become super extremely focused onto, our very distracting, technologically heavy, dopamine focused world. So in that video, I go way more with that. And if you want to say goodbye to stress, there's a links in the description that you can go ahead and check out.